Hello and welcome to The Rabbit Hole, the Definitive Developers Podcast in fantabulous Chelsea, Manhattan. I'm your host, Michael Nunez, our co-host today,
Dave Anderson,
and our producer,
William Jeffries.
And today we'll be talking about The Rabbit Hole.
Meta.
Yeah, this is pretty meta, guys.
Can you believe it? Like, we've been recording for we've been recording for a year, but we've been out for almost a whole year. And
Exactly.
the year is over.
And today we were talking about, our editor picks of The Rabbit Hole Podcast of 2017.
Yeah, the best episodes since we started recording back in September of 2016.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. We started in 2016, got the first episode out soon after.
Actually, I think it was a good
Couple months,
6
right?
months
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
We were quick on that.
Behind the
Huh?
scenes.
Behind the scenes, we were working hard, and we made it. We
Right.
made it.
There was a training montage. Like, we were sweating. Like, there was a lot of, like, people berating you for being too loud in the WeWork.
Oh, yeah, actually,
Right?
we got into some fights over that.
Yeah, that was pretty tough. But,
Yeah.
Stride moved to our own office.
Yeah.
And
We're all grown up.
I can yell, and no one hates me. I mean, yeah, we
Except for
recorded.
Annie.
Yeah, except for my wife, and
Right.
who hates me and probably doesn't listen. She'll probably shake me when she hears that. But yeah, I think we record late enough where it's not too crazy in the office, and we get to actually, we've matured over the, standing behind the mic and got some great content out of everything.
I'm not sure. I'm still a
It's-
child.
It's great though. We love to have you on
one
the,
day.
Yeah, we'll get you. 2018. There's always 2018, bro. There's
Yeah,
always
I mean,
2018.
it's amazing. Like, we started out with, like, what was the first one? Was it TDD? TDD is the first one that we dropped. That was not a 5-minute intro episode.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, it set the standard. It's been a good run. Although, like, we've kind of tightened it up a little bit. That if you buckle up and, like, listen to that one, it's gonna be like 40-50 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
for the
Even-
true fans.
Yeah.
And the audio quality is not as good either.
We had a lot of editing, like different shops come in and edit our stuff, and we finally got the groove to figure out what's great quality and what's awesome and stuff like that.
Yeah, those older episodes had great content. It's just the polish was not there yet.
I mean, I think, yeah. And then maybe we could go back, re-record them. I don't know if we want to say the same exact thing, just like get transcript and just read it out. Like, today we'll be talking about yeah. I don't know
We
if that
could
would
do a
work.
dramatic reading.
Ooh, what if
Like-
we got like guest actors to come and play us?
Yeah. And then someone with like a British accent that plays me. I think that'd be
or like Drunk History Month.
Exactly.
You just get other drunk striders to come.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of episodes that we really, like, legitimately enjoyed, right? Like, I actually really enjoyed, talking to Adam about functional programming, like having numerous guests on the show.
Adam was a great interviewee. That was an excellent episode.
Yeah, I never thought that listening about functional programming could be so engaging. Most of the time you read a Stack Overflow post about Scala and it devolves into arguments about monads and closures, and the eyes start to glaze over. But, that was actually a very practical and awesome discussion with Adam.
Yeah, I think Adam did a great job explaining a lot of things that normally would need a whiteboard, but managed to get the idea across through explanation on, the different aspects of functional programming and how functional programming is awesome.
Yeah,
And
that was episode 27,
oh yeah.
if you want to listen back.
There you go. Jump back. One of my favorite that has a guest on the episode of The Rabbit Hole was CSS and JavaScript with Ian McNally.
Oh, that was
Shout
a
out
lot of
to Ian.
fun.
Yeah, it was. And I honestly, when we were setting that up, it was like, all right, there's going to be talk about JavaScript, we're going to talk about CSS. And when it gets to the CSS point, I'm not going to contribute anything. This is going to be boring, and CSS is boring, and I hate CSS. But it turned out to be a really interesting conversation on like some of the problems that you deal with and how to solve them, what kind of packages you want to look forward to when building CSS modules or like different frameworks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like there's a pattern. Like, the things that we've enjoyed the most are things that we learned a lot from talking about with our colleagues.
Yeah, and I think like having a guest like Ian was really, really cool to sit down and explain some of those concepts.
Yeah, it was a bummer that William wasn't there.
Yeah,
You got to tune in on that one.
I actually really liked that because when I went to go and listen to the episode, it was like listening to somebody else's show, which is a really interesting way of listening to The Rabbit Hole. It gave me a new perspective. I feel
Okay.
like a real listener now.
Nice. Yeah. I'll have to try that.
Episode 34, if you want to listen back to that one.
Well, what about the TDD and pair programming? Is that like, I know those are pretty throwbacks. Those are pretty far back.
Yeah, TDD was episode 2 and pair programming was episode 4. So that is like way back in the beginning.
Yeah. So definitely give a listen to those things if you need to brushing up on your TDD or pair programming skills.
Oh yeah, and Bobby, if you want to have that like listener experience, you could listen to the learning a new language episode that I recorded with William.
Oh yeah, that's so yeah. I remember listening to that. I was like, whoa, wait. It's like I was watching you guys record, and like I wasn't in the room to like add my 2 cents. It was great. It was just like I didn't have to hear myself for a whole episode. It was insane. And I think I was not there because I went on a vacation.
Yeah,
And I think we ripped on you for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because I had an episode that we had prior to that. We recorded an episode how I hated vacationing and why you needed it.
and then we convinced you to go on vacation,
And then I did.
so we could record an episode without you.
Exactly. That's what happened.
We're just going to take credit for that, even though really it was all Amy. I think one of my favorite episodes was Psychological Safety, episode 31. Not so much because it was technically challenging. It wasn't. It was a very soft episode. We didn't get to anything super programming heavy, but it was one of those episodes that people who aren't software developers came up to me and commented on, which
Oh.
I thought was really nice that we could have a bigger reach like that.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the things that we talk about, while they are framed in the lens of software development, are applicable to a lot of other things.
yeah, especially like going back to the vacations episode. That's been another one that got a lot of comments from different people. Like, hey, yes, I should take a vacation.
I think one of the more, I guess, non-programmer like episodes, like William mentioned earlier, which was potentially or possibly our most downloaded episode, was Salaries with Haley Ricks. I think like just like the concept of talking about salaries and, knowing your worth and stuff like that
Right.
definitely brought a lot of listeners into, determine, how do I assess myself so that I can get better pay as a programmer. But, pretty much anyone can listen to that episode and realize some of the things that they can use or learn to, get that bump.
Yeah,
and
that's nice too
promotion.
because it was like clearing the air. Like it's often kind of feels a little bit taboo to talk about out loud. It's like often something you might Google
Yeah.
in the shadows on go to Glassdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was episode 35, Salaries.
Yeah. I think it was pretty cool to have that conversation out in the open at the end of the day, which was really, really cool. And I'm glad that Haley was able to get on and
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like we were really fortunate to have a lot of really awesome guests, like the one that just dropped pretty recently with Max. There are no rules in Ruby. Like that was another awesome time. It was just fun having him on the show. Really looking forward to having more guests on the show and learning from more people in the next year.
Yeah, that reminds me, I think probably the episode that I'm most excited about dropping, which we've already recorded, which will release in January, is this episode with Brian Guthrie on DevOps. And he has a really interesting perspective and he's very well spoken. So that was a lot of fun to record, and I know it's going to be really fun to listen to.
Yeah, definitely.
I have one in mind, a guest that I wanted to have on board. I guess to bring it to the level of something more programmer related, Jacob O'Donnell, I might actually have his name wrong, but he brought up the concept. He had the title for it already, so I'm just going to say it out there. He wants to talk about deaths by 1,000 ifs.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a great topic.
That's a great
Sounds
title.
sounds very painful.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of developers and consultants out there may have been bitten by the 1,000 ifs.
Oh yeah, Sandy Metz would be all over that.
Yeah, and I think that was like pretty cool. So I want to have him on board to have that conversation and figure out ways we could get out of that cheat death by not getting the 1,000 ifs.
Yeah. Man, other guests, like I'd really love to have more of Emmanuel, our regular guest.
Yeah.
He's been busy working on a new podcast, so I've been missing him.
Top secret project.
Right? It's no joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that too.
Yeah, awesome.
There's another personality who's going to be on that podcast with him too.
Yeah.
Who was actually on the rabbit hole as well this year.
You might be familiar.
Another amazing guest.
Yeah. It's coming out soon. Well, we're going to drop something hot. Have something for y'all.
Yeah, Meredith. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, there's more info in the future in 2018. # goals we're trying to achieve. And I'm really looking forward to being able to, give support to the new podcast that's coming.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning more about blockchain too. I mean, you guys keep on talking about it and I am completely ignorant. You guys need to educate me.
I don't think I'm ready to talk about it like on air because I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, we got to educate ourselves first.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe you can make some goals about that.
Yeah, definitely, reach out to Satoshi Nakamoto and tell him to come down and teach us a little about blockchain as well.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. You guys buds?
Yeah, if anyone has his Twitter or his phone number, send them our way. Maybe we can get him to talk about blockchain. That'd be really, really dope. That'll be the, pretty awesome guest. Yeah, I'm sure we have other guests in the pipeline and other topics that we will discuss, and I'm sure you are looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear some suggestions if anyone out there has any thoughts about potential topics we could do that you're eager to hear about. Definitely hit us up.
Cool. Yeah, definitely hit us up. To our co-host, Dave, thanks for dropping some topics.
Cool, yeah.
And William, also giving us your 2 Satoshis on your topics and the ones you like.
My pleasure.
Awesome. I'm Michael Nunez. And if you have any other suggestions and topics that we should do, feel free to hit us up at twitter.com/radiofreerabbit. And if you haven't, please give us a 5-star rating and subscribe. This is The Rabbit Hole. We'll see you next year.